Hi, welcome back for PD3 on teacher training. Today we're going to concentrate on 4 required binders that you will need on your desk. I'm going to put a list in the information section of the video. The first one that you're going to need is your emergency procedures. Okay? In this one, you will have your school instructions, rosters, and parent contacts in case you have an evacuation, a lockdown, a shelter in place, a fire drill. It is essential that when you exit the building, or if you just go to a different classroom, you take this, can you see it clearly, with you. I made mine with the instructions that I have, and they're actually very important to me because they're bilingual, and I have many students who speak different languages. The second binder that you will need is your substitute binder, okay? And please excuse the glare that goes in my glasses, okay? I take photos, that's my hobby, and that's one that I took several years ago of wildflowers where I used to live. So in my substitute binder, you will need, yes, the infamous school calendar, your bell schedule, your schedule, rosters for all of your students, your seating arrangements, lesson plans for 5 days, substitute lesson plans for 5 days. And then I want you to replicate the school instructions that were given to you and placed in your emergency binder, and I want you to put them in here. Your substitutes will love you, my binders are falling, because you have provided them with a binder that they can look through and know what to do instead of walking in blind. The third binder that you're going to need, Instructional Resources. Okay, here's another one of my photos. Okay. This is not your data binder with resources. These are the instructional resources that you may want to take and copy at the copy machine or reference. And of course, the first is the school calendar. Within this binder, I have everything that I need for my word walls, for basic language testing, key content vocabulary, my graphic organizers that I have found to be successful and those required by the district. I also have copies of my curricula and interventions that I have found effective in my classroom. This is a very personalized. Your binder for instructional resources is going to be very personalized, and it will take a lot of time to put together. Sometimes it takes several years because you're finding things that you have found at work that you want to use again because you know that it's going to be successful in the classroom. This is your third binder. So we have 1, emergency procedures. 2, your substitute binder with replication of emergency procedures for the substitute. And then you have your instructional resources that you will put into the context of your discipline. And elementary school teachers, instructional resources are going to be very different than a high school chemistry teacher. That's why it's very personalized. And our fourth, but not last binder, is your data binder with resources. Another photo that I took. I love flowers. This one took a very long time for me to put together for this video. It took 3 hours. But I'm not going to have to do it again. I'm going to read to you what I have in this binder, all ready to go. And I have a list that I put. This is the first page you open up to. In each of the binders, I actually have a guide from when you open it and then, what's in the binder. In the data binder and resources, I suggest that you have Section 1, district, school, of course the calendar, your bell schedule, all of your rosters, and your schedule. Section 2, infographics that you can post and reference for social and emotional learning. I have a really favorite one that I'd like to share with you as an example. Let me go into my binder. Give me a moment. It's titled, I've had this for a while, it's titled 10 Ways to Build Relationships with Kids. It is from www.thepathwaytosuccess.com. I thought this was fabulous. And here they are. I think this is a great list, and I hope that you will find by going to their website, thepathwaytosuccess.com, that it will work for you too. It's a special reminder of how to build relationships with kids, your students. Another one would be social and emotional learning, a circle, lots of circles, and how they intersect and help you in creating a wonderful classroom and school experience. I have to print this one out in color though. It's called the emotion and feeling wheel, and it's all key content vocabulary. Great for a word wall. Okay. And that one is also from the Junto Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership. Really great. I think that these will serve you well. The next section, in your data binder and resources will be your homeschool communications from you. So you have your school year introduction letter, I'm referencing, so if you see me look down. You're going to have your school year introduction letter, and I put in here, I print out, depending upon the month, either a monthly or bi-monthly newsletter. I post it on my Google Classrooms, and I make copies available in the classroom. This is to have communication with the parents. I have to do mine in different languages, but it's a joy, and I have worked on this for about 5 years, and I've tweaked them. I use from the Google Suite, they have newsletter templates, and that's how I make mine. Now, the fourth section, I'm going to take some time with this. My fourth section is lesson planning. I'm going to read everything that I have in this section. A student-friendly objective, tiered system of supports, 1 through 3 tiers, and I use it from New Jersey, so it's a New Jersey MTSS from the Department of Education. The lesson plan templates, I have mine, and I also have a SIOP. Co-teaching models, reference guide, I have 6 different types of co-teaching models, because you never know, someone might be assigned to your classroom, and it's a great way for structuring the entire, let us say, dynamic of the classroom. When I was working on my PhD, I developed an IEP checklist for individual student modifications and accommodations. This was back in 2019. Just to let you know, I decided not to finish it. It became very, very expensive. And I was kind of at the top notch of credits and years of education. I actually decided to use the money to go on vacation through some wise advice from a member of my family. But while I was working on that, and it was for a while, trust me, I came up with this in 2019. Very good. List anything and everything possible, make copies of it, check off what I have to do, keep it in another confidential binder, which is locked in my room. Bloom's taxonomy. Now, we all know that goes back actually to like 1956 or 1959. If it's 1956, it's older than me. So what they did was update it for digital learning. Look for that one. The action, words, the verbs for writing your objectives for digital learning. Excellent, excellent. I'll try to put the link in. I have enduring understandings and essential questions next. Mine are specific to ELA. Everyone will have something different dependent upon what you're teaching and the grade level. Now, I also have classwork techniques next with learning ideas for small group choices and some small group choices for implementation. So maybe I want to do a jigsaw, think think, pair, share, things along that line. I have them there for me to reference and think about. You have to go back. One thing that I found that was really great, and I saved this for a really long time, and that's the next one on my list. Writer's Workshop Components with Timed Blocks. This is a great model for any lesson. 5 to 10 minutes here, small group, maybe 20, dependent upon the length. Maybe you're doing block instruction. Maybe you have 2 periods. If you have 1, you can accommodate it. It is wonderful. That's, again, the Writer's Workshop Components. Excellent. And I have something I've had for about 18 years, and it's called Mini Lessons and Conventions for Writing. These are perfect do-nows. Absolutely perfect. And they transfer right into a Google form, and I'm going to go over how to make them and use them for do-nows for test prep. And that will be in the future. Citation references. You can choose MLA or APA. I have APA because that was something that we were working on a year ago. I'm going to have to go back to it to see which one we're going to choose this year. I also have how to cite the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. I want the students to know. It's a little different with those. Okay? And then I have, of all things, empty page protectors, because you never know, how I love them or what you're going to need next. The 5th section is my standards. Now, I have to go by New Jersey Student Learning Standards, and I also put the WIDA, the ELD standards, and they're going to be in there. The WIDA online book is like 200 and some pages. Definitely don't need that. All I need are the standards so that I can write them into my lesson plans. Next, I have reader resources. If you have sheltered instruction, bilingual students, any language, you just have an inclusion classroom, you can't go wrong with them. So I would look up WIDA resources and look what you can find. And there's a lot of wisdom with what they present for education and for the teacher framework. The next would be 7. The 7th section is observation framework. I put in Danielson and Marzano for my references. Some districts have their own observation protocol for when your supervisor, principal, whomever is assigned will come in and look at your instruction. My 8th section is for SGOs. Those are our student growth objectives that are written. I don't know if you have them in your state, but we do, and I have a section for that. And 9th is testing data. That's where I put my standardized test results for whatever the students had to take. And they're copied, they're put in there, and that's what I look at to make my small groups. Last but not least, section 10, my PD certs for the year. Every time I complete a professional development course, I print it out and put it in there because I'm going to wind up scanning all of them in to hand them in at the end of the year. And it's very cumbersome if you have to save one and then upload it. Save one and upload. Just put them in there, scan them in one, and send them off to whoever has to approve, look at them, and verify that you've done your required hours and whatever else was required by your district. These binders are essential. Do not fall into the trap of everything's online. Everything isn't online. And the more we use this ChatGPT and Google self-correct and all of these things that the students use to get through your lessons without studying, the more you're going to want to go to the copy machine and have them handwrite. Nothing like developing small motor skills with your students through writing, and then you can edit them. And all students, all adults, everyone makes mistakes with spelling, punctuation. Also remember this, any standardized test that your students are going to take, there is no self-correct. It's blocked out, and whatever they write, they write. They're not going to get any help then. So think about it. Use whatever you can to help your students develop their writing in every single classroom subject. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it proved informative, and will help you become a better organized and effective teacher. Share your comments. I hope that my videos are really going to help new teachers and any teacher. Thank you very much. Have a great day.